What's up, guys? It's February 13th, 2017, and it's time to respond to today's Q&A questions. Just got back from a really good workout, so I'm gonna knock these out before I shower up and eat and all that good stuff. Looks like the first one, training 5 days a week with weights plus 4 cardio sessions, 40 minutes each, steady state. Gives macros. This is hypothetical for a female. Talks about reversing out of a keto diet is this question. So macros are 200 grams of fat and 200 grams of protein, 60 grams of fat, only carbs from veggies. When introducing carbs back into the diet, would you bring down protein or fats or keep them both the same as long as possible as well, and cutting cardio? Well, first off, I don't know how big the female is, but chances are you could probably, during the keto diet itself, have the protein lower and those fats higher. And that would be more of a true keto approach, less gluconeogenesis, less conversion of amino acids into glucose, and probably have a little bit better effect. Though, I mean, still gonna lose fat this way. Should anyhow, but I would say that's probably better if you want to actually get into a really solid ketosis. But taking that out of the equation, if this is your ending point and this is like maybe the high end of protein for this person's body weight, I would just start adding carbs. I mean, I wouldn't really bring fats down. 60 grams of fat's not a ton. I mean, you could maybe bring them down a little bit and start adding carbs, but I would go ahead and just start adding the carbs in, probably leave fats at a base. That's plenty for essential function, anything you need it to do. And then start pulling cardio as well. As far as cutting it in half goes, it would depend on how much you want to, how much food you're planning on adding in. And how much cardio they were doing. If they're doing 3 sessions of cardio for 20 minutes each, and there's a total of 60, and you cut it down to 30 minutes, I mean, yeah, that's not a big deal. But you're talking 4 sessions of cardio, 40 minutes each. Yeah, you could probably cut that in half without issues, as long as you didn't go crazy on the food. I think that's reasonable, definitely. So like I said, this is based on what you're telling me macro-wise here. Next question, what were some of the supplements or advices, radio, you felt really worked while we were talking about adrenal fatigue? Did you include your thyroid? If so, OTC-wise, what did you use? I recently was diagnosed with low thyroid. I did talk about some of it, but we got in depth about the other stuff on the advices radio episode, so I didn't go super in depth on all of them. Though I talked about basically using adaptogenic herbs is a big one. And there's actually, I'm trying to think of the brand. I think it's let me look here. I think it's RLC Labs, something like that. Yes, RLC Labs. They have an adrenal product and a thyroid product. I actually like their adrenal product. It's pretty solid. It has a good blend of the herbs that I want, pretty decent dosages for a blended product. That's one that I used. I just used time and a half serving. And then they have a thyroid product that covers basically most of your thyroid cofactors, iodine, basically all the things that all your basics. So I would maybe look into that iThyroid product from RLC Labs if you want something that has what you need all in one. Low thyroid it's tricky because, just like any hormone issue, it's a little tricky because there could be several root causes of it. With thyroid, it's one of those things, unless your metabolism is really downregulated and you've really abused it, you might simply need to address the thyroid with medication. And if you can't go the over-the-counter route, I mean, there's stuff like Google Sterones. There's a few other things, you're just making sure iodine's good, B vitamins, maybe try to add some tyrosine in. But these things might be wishful thinking at the end of the day. assuming you not have any other hormone balance, you don't need testosterone replacement, for example. I've seen people with low test correct their tests and their thyroid gets better. There's such a strong hormone feedback loop between everything that you have to take everything into consideration. So over the counter, those would be my suggestions. And as far as the adrenal supplements go, I'll try to remember to post the video link for the supplement video that I did for that adrenal fatigue recovery series. I'll try to post it in the comments here. Next one, what 5 things do you think have contributed to your success over the last year? I think it's just it's been building. I mean, last year has been pretty solid, I think. It's hopefully just keep getting better. Doing more podcasts, the Beast Fitness Radio podcast, along with getting invited on several others, writing articles for reputable places like Elite FTS. Doing seminars, all that stuff. It's just time. I pick little things up here and there, little nuances to coaching, little things I can improve. I wouldn't say I haven't completely revamped what I'm doing as a coach over the last several years. Like I said, I pick up little things I can get better at, and just with experience. But as a whole, it's just word of mouth, people getting out continuously, consistently getting results and helping to solve problems for people. That's the biggest thing. It's just doing it repetitively, not just getting lucky one time and saying, oh, I'm a coach or I helped 3 people. Got to do it. You got to prove yourself over and over and over again and hammer away at it. And I think that's the biggest thing, really. Might be more individual based question. Listening to what I believe was an older podcast. Mike Israetel was on. He suggested HIIT. He was talking about HIIT during a contest prep, and he says it really hurts MRV and would lead to individual needing more rest deload as a result. And do you agree with his line of thinking? Basically is what he's asking. Yeah, he's right. For most people, doing more HIIT during contest prep is going to lower MRV. Your maximum recoverable volume is probably going to be lower, just because it's pretty demanding from a recovery standpoint. Just because you got to figure HIIT's tapping into nervous system recovery a little bit more than low intensity cardio. It's effective in the short term. You get a lot for a little. Some people can really hammer it. I have people that can do it 5 days a week and do it after every single workout, things like that. And they're fine, they can do that. But it is an individual based question, like you mentioned. I would just pay attention to those recovery cues. And if HIIT is the only thing you've actually done that you've added to the programming, and you notice that recovery ability is going down, then there you go. I would say that you're just gonna have to pay attention, really. Rate of muscle loss when rehabbing injuries and not lifting whatsoever. Asking for a friend. Okay. I would say part of this probably depends on, for one, how long have you been training, and how long are you not going to lift? I know my wrist, for example, I lifted all the way through wrist recovery. I could do as much as I could. Wasn't much. I lost fullness and stuff, but I think it all came back pretty quick. I think that's the biggest thing, is just how long you've been training and how quickly you're able to bounce back. Rate of muscle loss, noticeable for sure. It'll be noticeable. And I don't think it'll just be glycogen. I think there'll be tissue loss too. It doesn't happen real quick, but you start to notice it, and you get maybe in that 3 week to a month mark. You're like, oh yeah, I'm really seeing it. So, and then it might kind of slow down as far as the tissue loss goes when your body hits a point where it feels comfortable. But I would say, again, just depends on how long you're not training and how long you've probably been training, just how well you're going to retain that tissue. Then there's genetics. Obviously play into that a lot. Another one, infertility due to exogenous hormone supplementation. So This is a big one. Again, I think this is a very individual thing. I think that some people can really hammer away, do cycles, blast, cruise, whatever they want, not have any issues. I think that a lot of people get their wives pregnant or girlfriends or whatever right in middle of a heavy cycle. Happens all the time. Some people can never, aren't fertile ever again. I think that if it's not happening on a cycle and it's not happening off cycle, then you need to get some stuff checked out. You might need HCG. You might want to use HCG during supplementation if you're really worried about it. Once you get off, you can check things like your LH and FSH and see how, see if they're outputting the way they should be. They're obviously going to be very suppressed when you're on FSH and LH will be very, very low to none when you're on cycle typically, or using even hormone replacement, just because there's really no need for them. So I would say, maybe try a run of HCG and see how you do. If no luck, then you might consider getting sperm count tested, sperm motility tested also. You have to look at that part as well, and then go from there. Oh, and to add to that, you may have to be completely off to be able to make it happen. So just keep that in mind. Question, do the terms lean and dry go hand in hand? I pondered this the other day. Can someone be lean but not dry? And isn't it Tren or Masteron that give you the hard body granite look? Can you be lean and not dry? Definitely, yeah. Might depend on compounds you run, hormone levels, estrogen, things like that. Just the person in general, how flat they are, how much water they're holding, electrolytes, all that jazz. Typically, if you're not messing with anything, if electrolytes are normal, a person's just really lean and contest shape, not doing anything, probably even relatively flat, they're still going to be pretty decently dry. They should be. I mean, without the fat tissue on your body, yeah, you're going to be drier because there's not a whole lot. There's not as much space for the water to go. It's not fat tissue for it to hang on to. They do go hand in hand for sure, though some people are naturally just drier than others. I know for me, I'm not like a super dry person to begin with, but I don't hold a ton of water either. I have a hard time getting super, super nasty dry for a show without just looking flat as shit. But I mean, I'm peeled. So it's just finding that balance. Some people, they hold an ass load of water. They can pull tons of water for a show, look great, dry out a ton. Those people lose like 10 pounds of water before a show, or 10 pounds of water right when they start a contest prep, from lowering carbs or whatever. But yeah, I would say in general, they go hand in hand. Can compounds affect it? For sure. A compound that makes you fuller and tighter, that doesn't aromatize and make you hold water, is going to help. Masteron, for sure. Tren is going to do that. It has some serious cosmetic effects for a lot of people. Just what it does visibly to you is noticeable in a lot of people, which is why a lot of people like it. Super draw is another one. That's a big one. It tends to pull tons of water and glycogen in the muscle and really pack it in and tighten the skin up just because you're full. Next question, Milano. I thought he said melanotan at first, but he's actually saying melatonin for night shift workers. Is there any side effects if using it every day? Okay, so this is tricky because typically we are cyclical in the way we produce melatonin, and it's basically produced in a light dark cycle. So when it's dark out, we should be producing melatonin, and vice versa. Yeah, you could, if you were getting off at work in the morning and going to sleep, you could probably take melatonin. As a sleep aid, I really don't think that's going to be the best one, just because your body's already struggling to maintain that cyclical melatonin production. I would say in that case, I would look at getting GABA, getting GABA levels and serotonin levels, and dopamine and everything balanced at that point. Maybe try to get serotonin up some and get GABA up some to help you relax and fall asleep at a time that your body really doesn't want to sleep. So I don't know that I would mess with melatonin in that case, assuming that you're coming home and going to sleep in the morning, something like that. Any side effects to using it every day? Not really, not that I'm aware of. I've never heard of anything. I think it's tested to be very safe. Sorry, guys. Tested to be safe. I don't think there's any issue. It's not going to... I've not seen anything that says exogenous melatonin supplementation is going to shut down your endogenous melatonin. Nothing like that. Keep the dose reasonable. If you really wanted, you could even get your melatonin levels checked. You can do that. Kind of nifty. So you could always check. I think for someone that is doing shift work too, I am big on looking at sleep-wake cycle, adrenal health, things like that. So the Dutch test that I've talked about in the past that tests adrenals, all of the DHEA, cortisol, cortisone, metabolites of everything, melatonin's on there. I think that could be a good test. And I'm pretty sure you can order that online if you look up Dutch hormone test. I'm pretty sure you can order a kit for yourself. It's not super cheap, but it is one of the most comprehensive things that you can order. It spits out some really awesome information, and it's very accurate. So I think that's it for today, guys. We ran actually a little long day, about 17 minutes. So I appreciate everyone watching. I will get this posted up as soon as possible and hope to hear some more good questions next time. Thank you.